Good morning. Today we're going to talk about Australian tax returns and specifically the types of things that we can now claim as a tax deduction as a result of working from home a lot more. Some listeners may be very aware of these items. They might have worked from home before as a part of their normal work schedule, but for many of us, we're working or being asked to work from home on a part-time or a full-time basis, and perhaps for the first time. So we want to go through a list of items, typical items that you can claim as a tax deduction, and then go through what substantiation or what paperwork you need to keep to make sure that you can get that tax deduction. We understand that the coronavirus is the immediate concern at the moment. We understand that a lot of people are preparing themselves for isolation or to make sure they've got enough supplies at home to get through the next period. However, we thought we would put this video out now because we also understand that a lot of people are setting themselves up at home and they'll be incurring expenses that we know are tax deductions. So we want to make people aware of that now, so then it's much easier to keep your receipt before you throw it in the rubbish bin and make sure that you get the maximum tax deductions and refund that you're entitled to. The first thing I want to mention is that just a reminder, for every dollar that we get as a tax deduction, generally, depending on your income and your tax bracket, generally you get about 30 cents extra on top of your refund. So if you get $100 of tax deductions, it's a $30 bonus on top of your normal refund. If it's $1,000, it's $300. So that when we go through this list, you'll see that these items add up very quickly. So we want to make sure that you keep the right things and keep the good records and then send it to your accountant and get the best return you possibly can. So looking at things like electricity, heating, cooling, those sorts of things. Now that you're at home, you're using the electricity for home, you're allowed to claim a tax deduction for that. The tax office have got a really good system where they give us an allowance per hour that we work at home. So we can't claim the full amount of electricity because we use that for personal reasons before work and after work, but we can claim a set rate per hour. So what we need to do is we need to keep a diary. We need to keep a diary to document how many hours each day we're working. You can do that in a diary, on a piece of paper, on a spreadsheet, whatever suits you. Then you can give that to your accountant, or if you do your own tax return, you can use that to calculate your claim. Other things like typical household products that we normally buy anyway, we can now claim as a tax deduction. So things like dishwashing liquid, toilet cleaner, cleaning products, toilet paper, those sorts of things that you would find in a typical office environment where you have a kitchen and a toilet, we can now claim those personal expenses at home. However, we can only claim the proportion that relates to your work. So your accountant again will help you work out what's a reasonable proportion, or if you go to the tax office website, there's some guidelines on there as well, but keep all the receipts for those items. If you've bought a desk, a chair, a bookshelf, a cabinet, those sorts of things for your home office are all tax deductible. So please keep the receipts. And if you lose the receipts, at the very least, keep your credit card statement or your bank statements, but keeping the receipts will ensure that you'll be able to claim a tax deduction. And when you start talking about those items, that's when we're starting to talk about hundreds of dollars of deductions that we want to make sure everyone gets. Repairs to those items obviously is a tax deduction as well, but things like computer consumables, you might have bought a printer as well, but things like paper, stationery, paper, those sorts of things are also a tax deduction. Also, we want you to think about your mobile phone, or if you've got a fixed line, if anyone has a landline these days, you might have it with an ADSL modem attached to it. So those types of fixed monthly costs that you were paying anyway, now they become tax deductions, or at least proportions of them become tax deductions. So keep your monthly bills, whether it's a package or whatever. Internet costs, those things now are tax deductible as well. There's a list of we've got about 30 or 40 items on our list here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but we really just want you to start thinking about those things now. Start asking us questions for clients of ours. If you're a non-client, you can leave a message, or we're getting a lot of direct messages, so we're happy to answer questions that way. If you've got a separately identifiable place of business at home, it might be an office in a shed that's detached from the house, or it might be a room that's got an external access that only goes into that room. You might have a sign out the front, and that might be a place where you regularly meet clients or make deliveries from. If you've got that sort of setup, that opens you up to a lot more deductions on typical things that you're currently paying around the house anyway. So I won't go through those because it's a little bit complicated, but if you're in that situation, you want some more clarity on that, please give us a call or send a message and we can provide clarity on that. If not, go back to your accountant. I'm sure they'll be able to give you guidance. But it's really important that you start planning for that now. You don't want to get to the stage where you get to July, August, September and preparing your tax returns and you haven't got the right substantiation or you haven't done the correct planning and therefore miss out on a deduction. So start thinking about that now. I know we're all at home a lot more now. We should have a lot more time to put these things together, but I understand people have got a lot of other things to do as well. So I appreciate if you've got to the end of this video and you found the time to watch our videos. That's great, thank you. If you do enjoy our videos, please subscribe to our channel, and that way you'll get our updates on your YouTube feed. And if there's any other questions in relation to work from home deductions, please give us a call. Thanks for listening. We'll chat soon.